Sanguine Claws from Xavier.
Claws, yes. So if they missed out these two crowd control abilities, which have very long backswing, then they lose all opportunities for Bruno. Bruno can't fight. Then they just reset. They lose all the momentum, all the tempo that they have just by gathering in one place. Oh crap, we missed two of our initiation spells. So let's go back to all this.
There's also a lot of, not a lot of damage onto the Esmeralda. I think it was a huge problem for INSOMNIACS in game number 2. Just because Bruno doesn't deal a lot of damage to this Esmeralda, not building any of these anti-heal or anti-shield items in the early game just makes Esmeralda annoying and out of control. So Kimmy's gonna get picked up right here for the side of INSOMNIACS just to seal the deal on the mid lane. A lot of early game damage. Kings SG really likes the Kalea and just snap picking that up. That's 3 games for the side of Silent for the INSOMNIACS. The only difference is in the draft right now, the CC won't be in play, but Yahiko bringing out the Fanny. A lot of players are actually teasing, or a lot of fans are actually teasing Yahiko's Fanny. And to see his high boosted, to see his Isun Shin, and knowing that he is through and through an assassin player. And huge shout out to all the Nepalese fans. I know Yahiko is from Nepal. He has also participated in the EWC wildcards as well. And man, a lot of fans are rooting on him.
Welcome to the stream.
Welcome to the stream.
Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We definitely are.
We definitely are. It's only 2 out of 7 days.
Yeah.
2 out of 7 series that we're going to be watching today. The Forza actually getting picked up by Kings SG as well. A very solid, strong pick just to zone any of these close engage marksmen away, and Moskov will be the marksman of choice in solidifying the first phase of the draft. No more Ranger for either teams, just to deal with a really strong approach in the gold lane. So INSOMNIACS having a good strategy, banning out the gold laners, try to get Kaiser a very easy winning lane down the gold side. But for Bong though, I think for KSG, they might be able to do a double fighter side lane combo again, just because they have so much sustain from the Kalea alone.
However, I do think that they will be putting too much eggs in one basket if they were to go double fighters, right? If they were to do that, then they have absolutely zero late game insurance unless they are very confident that they would just floor it. They would just absolutely win in the lanes. However, because they do not have a CC right now, they cannot guarantee themselves a win in the XP lane. One thing's for sure though, because the Moskov is already out, it would help them one way or another by dealing with a Moskov, someone that can really just push a Moskov away. However, because Moskov is also very self-sustaining, he does have a blink of his own, it's kind of tough to reach him, which kind of puts me in a spot whereby a traditional gold laner with range would do a way better job against a Moskov.
Yeah, fun fact, Moskov has the shortest and lowest defenses in any marksman. So that's going to be a huge problem for the INSOMNIACS, but you know, it's late game Moskov that we're talking about. INSOMNIACS finally picking up the Alice, making his way into the last match, and I think for Kings though, they have an answer for the Moskov anyways. It's gonna throw that Fanny in, try to deal with that Moskov, and I think Moskov was picked up as a soft counter towards that Fanny. If she comes close, just pin her to the wall and start pummeling her with the spears. So they had that going on. It's all down to execution at this point, to be honest.
So, understandably from this point, if we want to pit a gold laner against Moskov, what would you choose?
In this sense, Obsidia would be a death sentence for KSG. Doesn't do well against the Alice. Lunox would be the answer.
Lunox gold lane. Okay.
Interesting. A lot of magic damage coming in from the mid and the gold lane. We haven't seen a gold lane Lunox. Typically, it's always used in the mid lane.
Yep.
So far in the seeded stage, as well as earlier on today.
So this is understandably going to be a
jungler,
indeed an early game kind of thing for KSG. They still want to play a very poppy kind of early game, and they just need someone that can really respond to the Alice well enough. So Uranus is fine. But you were talking about Lance.
The Hayabusa comes in again.
But they are close contention with one another. It's really an either-or situation for Insomniac.
Yeah.
Going for the Hayabusa essentially just gives you almost the same thing. You do have got pretty good lot priority because you do have an invulnerability window that you can retribution out of it. But I think that one of the main things that Hayabusa players really appreciate is the matter of is the fact that they are good in 1v1 measures, split pushes, that kind of thing, which is something that they need to really work with the Fanny. And I think that the pickout is specifically catered to Fanny so that even when you pop off with the Ogi Shadow Kill, it follows through when she cables away.
Well, draft is set. This is an elimination match for Kings SG as well as Insomniacs. Both teams got what they came for. They went back to the drawing board, and if you go out, you want to go out with a bang. So both of these teams, they're comfortable with the heroes that they picked up, and they want to be able to reach into the next stage with these heroes or go out with them. For Kings SG though, the Fanny looking very strong, a lot of hype around Yahiko's Fanny, so we'll be able to see this once we jump into the game. As we step into the Land of Dawn, this is game number 3 between Kings and Insomniacs.
Looking at the fact that we are looking at both of the junglers starting out in their own respective purple buff, which means that they will both end up in the opposite side of the map for a tight map influence. So a little bit difference is that because for the red team, which is Insomniacs, they will end up being in the top lane, and the top lane happens to be the gold, and Fanny down to the bottom on the XP. So generally speaking, okay, looks like there will be some differences right off the bat because we do have a little bit of a counter invasion from Kings SG.
Good invasion, good aggression into the jungle. They know that Kaiser can't come into contest for this one. Silent taking a lot of damage.
Immediately, Silent doesn't seem like he will be able to survive this, and indeed he wouldn't. Ryzen picks up the first kill over to Silent, and this is going to be helping Yahiko quite a fair little bit.
Yahiko actually taking a lot of damage, able to cable out of the way. His own purple buff not even taken yet. That's a very good timing, just in time for that first turtle take. She will have that orange buff. Just need to take down the purple buff before she tries to contest for the turtle. There is a counter re-engage from Dex over onto the orange side, and we've seen a lot of the matches played down on the bottom quarter of the map. And I think for Insomniacs, they do have the counter aggression that they come through, but here comes the Ugi Shadow Kill.
Yep, that is exactly the tracking that I'm talking about for the Ugi Shadow Kill. But unfortunately, that is going to be a very big counter fight coming in from the side of Kings SG, allowing Bon Boy Reborn to pick up a kill down over to Death X. But unfortunately, Iron Ryan is not going to survive for another fight. Yahiko joins in the fray, unfortunately only at level 3. But it's okay. I think that there should still be a probability for Kings SG to follow up even more.
Yeah, if Yahiko got that level 4, you got execution, you got 2 free kills down the bottom side, but good call and good counter re-engage from the side of Kings SG, going up to the turtle pit area just to try to deny all of them from any kills. Knowing that Dex doesn't have the ultimate, doesn't have the iframes, they go straight for it. Looking at the items, doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary yet, but does seem like Kings are slightly up ahead in terms of all the lane dominance.
Okay, so nothing that is paving in a very weird way whatsoever. This is a very standard opening for both of these teams. Normally, the main thing that we look out for in the early stages is like, you know, changes in builds when it comes down to physical or magic. Something like a Bane, for example. But in this case, we're just going to be looking at a pretty normal game from both teams.
Iron Ryan doesn't have that level 4 just as of yet, but once he does, this Tsunami Slam into the face. Here comes Yahiko.
Phantom Airstrike right over. All 3 of them just going to slam me right in the face of Silent. There is also going to be that Tsunami Slam that pulls Silent in, but that means that a couple of those pot shots, Artillery Strike, missed out. Biltizi went all the way a little bit too deep in. As such, that gives a free kill over the Kings SG with 2 losses for the side of Insomniacs.
Great ultimate from Biltizi to start things off, but unfortunately, Kings SG's early game damage, especially from Ryzen and Yahiko, is really starting to hurt Insomniacs. So it's only 3 minutes into the game. Kings SG taking the first turn of the game, and I think that for Biltizi, that was a mistake that he used the ball to teleport himself down into enemy territory, unable to bring himself out. No more flicker. Already used that onto the TOR on the top side. Kaiser also using up his Purify, but you see the beeline up towards that top side. Bong reading that like an open book, and it's Insomniac trying desperately to find any kills to stay abroad.
So within 3 games, I would like to bring out the statistics. Is that Bong has essentially played 3 very different heroes in the gold lane. We have a fighter which is coming into CC. He has played a Granger, which is a traditional marksman, and he's played a mage up to the top lane for a gold laner.
I think Lunox still works well, especially in the late game. You have a lot of burst damage if you coagulate together. That's a Ruby DD into your face, and I think King's SG really wants to play around this understanding, around this strategy. But for Insomniacs, they're all nice.
Iron Ryan as well as the Feather Airstrike, they're all just going to be jumping right in, and Kaiser, unfortunately, will be the victim of this very hard onslaught.
Well worth it. You're trading a roam for a gold laner. You're delaying Kaiser's farm. You're pushing Bong up to his pure levels, and you have Yahiko just free farming down the bottom side. So he's joining in team fights whenever they are ready, and whenever they are in the vicinity. I think King's SG does have that damage to take everyone down. They do have late game potential. I think both teams might be able to play this in this game up to like maybe 43, 33 minutes even, just because, you know, late game potential for both teams are there.
When it comes down to the magic damage dealers, all of them have already gotten themselves their glowing wand, so at least it definitely helps against Iron Ryan, especially since there is quite a bit of healing capabilities. It helps against, helps going up against the Alice as well. So understandably, there must be a certain direction that both of these two teams are looking for. The tankiness of these tanks is not exactly there just yet. So if any of these gold laners were to kind of pop off their lane, they can actually do quite some work, especially for Bong.
Oh, looking on top side, this Brilliant's already popped off underneath the turret though. Will be able to use the Wiggy Shot kill, flickers out of the way. Might not be able to defend himself, but it actually gets out of the way.
Wait, huh?
Ooh, the SOD actually misses, but here comes Yahiko finishing that job with the janitor on duty.
What was the SOD?
It goes wide. It goes wide.
I don't know, man. Maybe we're just gonna have to look at the replay to really understand how the SOD completely misses out. But regardless, that is a pretty tight fight up in the top lane. It allowed for Bong to pick up a very good kill up to the top lane as well. Or rather, not Bong, but it does manage to help quite a bit to Yahiko.
Good read by King's SG, taking down Des on the top side, knowing that Bong is engaged onto and getting skirmished down into the ground. But I think for Insomniacs, they are looking a little bit desperate on the bottom side, though. There's a lot of damage. Yahiko just showing that cable movements and taking one down. It's a solo kill for that Fanny.
Immediately taking Biltizi out, and especially since we're talking about an Alice. But up to the top lane, more actions ongoing. The AOG gets silent right out of the fight. That is a 1-for-2 ultimate trade. But that also means that they will lose out control up in the top lane.
Beautiful shift of strategy for King's SG, knowing that they have full control of that map, knowing that they're up ahead in terms of gold. They're going for a 4-1 composition. You're leaving that bottom side over to Yahiko. You have an extra tank in the form of Uranus just to have that extra wall in front of you so that Bong and Ryzen can do their thing. There's a lot of magic damage, and then you get Yahiko to come in to clear things up.
So now most of the territory is actually going to be controlled by King's SG. It's bleeding pretty blue right now. Now, they're going to have to take away the T1 turret up in the middle lane, though, in order to really take controls and take the reins of this entire map. But Insomniacs, they really know that they want to keep this T1 down, or rather keep this T1 up. It's only 7 minutes and 40 seconds into the game with about 3,000 gold lead for King's SG. They will slowly, at least for King's SG, slowly make their way through. But remember, their sieging capabilities, not the best because they don't have a marksman that really excels in these basic attacks.
Already 2 core items for this Lunox. Already got the glowing one as well as the Divine Rapier. Divine Glaive, sorry. But the Moscov's still slowly building up that Holy Trinity. Only has 1 out of 3 core items that he desperately needs. That's going to be a late game Moskov, but you know, it's going to be so hard for Moskov to actually come back onto this game because we've always seen like Moskov really falling hard, not enough farm. King's SG is going to delay that farm even more, and they're going to take control of these neutral objectives that come up.
This is where quite a lot of macro plays is going to be pretty evident, especially up to the top lane, right? Pretty heavy wave, but I think that the Hayabusa is going to deal with that almost immediately. And let's not forget, you know, Chaos Assault deals a heck lot of damage over to Lord, so they will be able to blitz that down pretty effectively and manage to catch it right in time for the 8 minutes and 41 seconds creep spawn, just for the Lord to come out in 44 seconds.
Great positioning from Insomniacs. They know that Bong is just on turret duty, know that Bong is on lane duty, so they just sit in the bush, wait for the enemies to come in, and then go for the engages right there and then. Not a lot of turret sieging power, but for Kings SG, it's all about these team fights. You take one down, and then you slowly brittle the turrets down.
Since the Lord is going to be marching up to the top lane, it will be more than enough to take down the Holy Defense, and that will also force Insomniacs to move away from the top lane. And from that point onwards, that is just the top lane T3, middle lane T3 completely destroyed. No question asked. Insomniacs will outright lose in a lot of their lane controls, map control. 5,000 gold lead, yeah, it will slowly start to ascend even higher to about 7,000 to 8,000 gold lead later on.
It's a tickle party for Bunboy Reborn, just healing everything back up. Insomniac's throwing a lot of damage down, but it's Bunboy Reborn just sitting down really happily. He's healing everything back up, and it's so difficult to deal with this Uranus right now.
With the map control completely yielded by the side of Kings SG. They have also lost a lot already, but it's more than enough for them to be able to take down the Holy Defense. The Feathered Airstrike pushes the rest of Insomniacs away, while Silent hopes that he will be able to pull someone in and look for more initiation, but they don't really quite have that kind of capabilities. Bunboy Reborn hiding himself in between on the proxies of the middle lane and the top lane, just waiting for the perfect chance to get himself right out of that. In the end, Kings SG managed to take down the T3 turret in the middle lane and allow themselves for a very good lot take.
Great siege. Kings did what they have with the resources that they had, using the lore to open up that mid lane T3. So that means the Fanny could go in and out very, very easily. Kings SG still playing within their strategy. That's a 4-member down, trying to siege down that T3. Flicker's already popped out by Insomniacs. Here comes Yahiko, trying to clear that job, but no one is falling down.
Once again, the zoning tool that comes in the form of a Feathered Airstrike, forcing everyone from Insomniacs to run away, because they know, right? 7,000 gold lead, that Feathered Airstrike is gonna hurt with that Lightning Truncheon as well as the Glowing Wand. If she does pick up that Holy Crystal, it will make things even worse.
Yeah, we're slowing things down. Again, Kings SG really good in turning cafeterias into a silent library, no pun intended, and not giving a lot of information. Even for now, like, they want to draw Kaiser out. I wish I can see the itemizations right again to see where Kaiser is at on par with Bong. Missed that a little bit just now, but for Bong though, it's already 3-4 core items ahead. One jump, one flicker into the Ruby DD. That is it for the Insomniacs. It's a lot of damage, a lot of burst, not a lot of iframes for Insomniacs to play around.
I think ultimately this Lord has to finish up the fight, right? With the 6,600 gold lead, they should be able to just gather all of their forces and just run it right in the face of Insomniacs. Getting the bottom lane T3, simple. Getting the Lord, simple. Clearing out all 5 members of Insomniac might not be easy, but they gotta have to do it. They have to kill in order to end the game, because they don't have a marksman that has very strong basic attack to just end the game in one fell swoop.
Do you have to agree with you? As we're marching down the mid side though, Insomniacs doesn't have a lot of heavy high ground. The only thing that they have, maybe the TOR might be able to do something, but they're too far behind at this moment to make a dent in Kings SG's armor. As the Lord marching down, this concealed play, Bunboy Reborn will lead the charge.
Immediately just going to be flickering right straight in, but that's not going to do too much. And the main thing is we're going to be looking for the Feathered Airstrike. We do have the Lord that's just going to be pummeling down over to the core, while in the meantime, all the way at the back, we do have, of course, it's going to be the Tsunami Slam right down onto the desk. Brings him down immediately, leaving 2 persons left. But they will just end the game right in all. And of course, Kings SG takes the throne here.
A great run, very disciplined, very well played, very structured. A comeback that is not really a comeback for Kings SG. For game number 1, they knew their
rookie team. But congratulations over to Yahiko. Of course, bringing pain to the opponents. Get it?
Yeah. Lots of fans actually online just really hyping Yahiko up, especially his Fanny. And it's a very apt hero pick of choice for Yahiko, just to secure and lead his team over to the next stage of the Challenger Bracket Siege, Challenger Bracket stage with 4-0-3, 70% kill participation all over the map. He's basically playing a janitor role with a huge, with a sword instead of a sweeper. Taking a look at the emblems, nothing really, loud stands out to me, except for the far side, that's a cooldown. Is that pull yourself together for the Purify or the Flicker that he has?
pull yourself together. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
it's a pull yourself
Pull
together. That's the first
yeah.
time I see. Typically, it's the mystery shop or even the cooldown emblem that you build within the Farsa, or even the movement speed if you want to get to lanes even faster with the wings by wings. But the pull yourself together actually does a great deal of value for this Farsa. You get that flicker to get out of the way, just to mitigate a little bit of harm in the early game. A perfect game for Ryzen so far. Notable mentions to Bunboy Reborn as well, for, you know, just soaking up so much damage. Just excited to see how much Bunboy Reborn actually soaks up. Xavier was just constantly free hitting Bunboy Reborn, and he's just showing that he can tank and take that damage and turn it into a tickle party. On the other side of the table, though, I do want to give huge props to Insomniac with Xavier having a perfect game, 3-0-1. Unfortunately, though, unable to clear and secure that deal, and Insomniac's just barely scraping it through in the last game.
I think it's very unfortunate for our boys over from the side of Insomniac. They gave us a very good game in game number 1. Really really make Kings SG sweat quite a bit. Especially for Silent, right? Silent with that very big early game play, being able to steal away the stealing away the purple or no, orange buff. I think that completely changed the early game for Kings SG. But regardless, Kings SG, I think that they came back up pretty effectively. They were pretty good when it comes back to, you know, resetting the mentality again, go in for game number 2 and then game number 3 afterwards.
You know, Kaiser was a monster with the Granger, but when it comes down to late game marksman like the Moskov, I think he just couldn't find his footing. He has to fight against the Fanny, or defend himself against the Fanny. He's always under siege. Kaiser couldn't get his farm, and so he couldn't get his Holy Trinity by the end of it. It's 25% kill participation on a Moskov that's supposed to have that Splane lit. That's also Bunboy Reborn, 82,000 damage taken. This game has